In 1955, a photograph shows a father bringing an African child in a cage to his home for the amusement of his children. A father looks at the severed hands and feet of his 5-year-old daughter, punished for not meeting the daily rubber quota. Belgian Congo, 1904. A Congolese girl in the human zoo at the 1958 Brussels World's Fair in Belgium. Patrice Lumumba, the first prime minister of the Democratic Republic of Congo, was assassinated in 1961 with the involvement of Belgian officials who opposed his leadership. His body was dismembered, dissolved in acid, and his teeth were taken as trophies. The only Bulgarian survivor of the 1876 Batak massacre, the signs/letters made from the bones of the massacre read, from 1876. The photo is courtesy of American journalist Januarius McGahan. In 1993, Kevin Carter took a photograph of a starving Sudanese child being stalked by a vulture. Carter won the Pulitzer Prize for this photo in 1994, but later died by suicide. In his suicide note, he wrote, "I am haunted by the vivid memories of starving or wounded children." A sad photo shows a man protecting his family from cannibals during the Madras famine in India, 1877. On the morning of June 5, 1989, photographer Jeff Widener was sitting on the balcony of the 6th floor of the Beijing Hotel. A day after the Tiananmen Square massacre, Chinese troops attacked pro-democracy demonstrators camped in the plaza, and the Associated Press sent Widener to document the aftermath. As he photographed bloody victims, passing cyclists, and occasional burning buses, a column of tanks began to emerge from the square. This 1902 photograph shows French knife grinders. They would work on their stomachs all day to prevent their backs from becoming hunched. In 1987, James Stanfield captured a photograph of a heart surgeon after a 23-hour-long heart transplant surgery. The photograph, which shows the surgeon looking exhausted but triumphant, also depicts his assistant sleeping in the corner of the room. Adolf Hitler with Helga Goebbels. Helga and her siblings were later given cyanide by her parents in Hitler's bunker in 1945. This is a Roman hologram effect ring found in the grave of 1st century AD noblewoman Abutia Corda. The ring is thought to depict her son, Titus Carvilius Gemello, who passed away at age of 18. The concept of baby cages emerged in the 1920s as a solution to provide fresh air for toddlers. Here's a brief overview. In the early 20th century, there was a growing concern about the lack of fresh air and sunlight for urban children. Cities were becoming increasingly crowded, and apartments often had limited outdoor spaces. Baby cages were essentially wire mesh enclosures that could be attached to windows or balconies. They were designed to provide a safe and healthy environment for toddlers to play and get some fresh air. In the Middle Ages, a method of torture involved pouring salt on the foot of the accused and having a goat lick it until the flesh was stripped away. Bathtub torture. The prisoner would be placed in a wooden tub with only their head exposed, and honey would be smeared on their face to attract insects. Additionally, the victim would be regularly fed until they were left in their own excrement. President John F. Kennedy with NASA Director Dr. Wernher von Braun at Cape Canaveral, Florida, November 16, 1963. Charitable Chinese man feeding a criminal in a kang. Petty criminals were sentenced to wear the kanke, often for a couple of months, and display themselves in public places. At best, they were humbled by dependence on others to be fed. At worst, they might starve to death. The sign on the kang describes the man's crime. CA 1905.